Is you hotter, cause we on fire. Yeah, we back to see this thing on fire. Either you gon' ride it, you gon' ride it. Feel that power. Yeah. Hey. Is you hotter, cause we on fire.
I'm old. So, but one less person that I can turn from being an enemy is one more person that can help me. You see what I'm saying? So when I look at my people, I say, if I can get this brother to start living his life for God, that's one less person I got to worry about. Right. And then guess what? Your wife will be one less sister I had to worry about. Your son or your daughter will be one less other person that's doing evil that I have to worry about because you taking care of your household. Right? So that means if I have a son and he want to get married and you have a daughter, I'm a righteous father, you a righteous father. Hey, let's make that thing happen. Right? But if we got a lot of our people not living in a bad situation, because you can live in a bad situation. You can be broke and not have money, but you still can be wise. You see what I'm saying? So it ain't about that. It's about the wisdom that's trying to dwell in us, right? We got to make sure we have that, right? You got a question? Well, so what you thinking?
Everything y'all saying is right. Everything I hear y'all saying, my grandmother tried to instill in me since I was little. That church never. So I was always with my grandma. So everything y'all saying right now, I already know the miracle.
I give you one thing that I know you probably never heard before, though. I'm gonna ask you a question. What's your nationality? Black. Now that shirt black.
African American.
Okay, African American, right? So, what does Africa mean? Yeah. Where that word come from? You see why they say if you want to hide anything from a black man, put it in the book, right? The term Africa, the name Africa, come from a white man, Leo Scipios Africanus, right? He defeated Hannibal in the Second Punic Wars, right? When white people go somewhere, what do they do after they get there? They change the name of the place according to them, right? They change the name. That's why you'll see street signs and everything here named after white people, right? Because they come, they conquer, they change the thing. So when you say you African American, right? First you say you named after a Roman. Africa came after a white man, right? Now American, where that come from? Yep. It came from Amerigo Vespucci, an Italian map maker. So when you say you African American, you're really saying that you come from two white people. You come from two white people? No, right? And then we didn't start calling ourselves African American until the 80s. I think Jesse Jackson coined that phrase, right? So that means if you was born before the 80s, then African American didn't even exist. Nobody even knew what that term was, right? So now, you're not black, right? We about the same color, we brown. You're not African American. What else? What you think? We don't know, right? Jeremiah 17 verse 4. Let me show you something, right? Because for you to know you royalty, you have to know who you are, right? If you don't know who you are, then you can't say your seed royal. Because you don't know. I mean, who am I? I don't know. They say I'm African American. They say I'm black. They say I'm Negro. They say I'm colored. They say all these things. I just follow it, right? And that's most of our people. If I had 100 men or women standing up here and I said, what's your nationality? You see how you pause first? Because you never thought, like, what is my nationality? I don't know, right? The person that said that this is Jesus Christ told me I was black. And that's what we go with. Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage.
So heritage, right? What would you say? I say so-called black people, right? That's what we call ourselves. What would you say our heritage is? Some people say hip-hop. They say hip-hop, man, that's our heritage, right? What is our heritage? What's our language? What's our rules of morality, right? What is that? What's our customs? We don't really have that, right? So that means the things that you learn here, we learned everybody else's heritage, right? We learn about the 4th of July. What's that about? America's independence. But we were slaves during that time. But then we'll celebrate it. We'll get the short set with the flag on. Our sisters will get red, white, and blue weave in their head, right? We'll go out, we barbecuing for the 4th of July, knowing, but it's celebrating their independence. How you celebrate your independence? Because you're not independent yet. You still a slave.
Right.
Now, we just slave with benefits now. They figure one thing out. You know how they used to have taxis, right? Well, who owned the taxi? The taxi company, right? So he had to pay for the maintenance on the taxi, the insurance on the taxi, right? If an accident happened, they had to get stuff fixed. They had to keep it clean, right? All these different things. Any of the laws, when it comes to like the paperwork and stuff, they had to take care of that. And if the taxi wasn't working, they still had to pay the note, right? So what they do now instead of taxis? Right. And who owned them cars? The person that drive. So the person that now run the company, he says, you know what? If I don't have to take care of these cars no more, I can make money with really no expenses.
Right.
That's what they did to us when they released us from the plantation. They was like, man, we gotta buy food for these niggas. We gotta put clothes on these niggas. We gotta take, when they have kids, we gotta do their medical stuff, right? When the woman get pregnant, we gotta make sure she heal. He break his arm, we gotta try and make sure his arm good. They gotta keep up with the maintenance of their slaves. So you know what they did? Wait a minute. Let me just let them work, get a job and work for me. I pay them the money. I still make the money, right? Because everything you buy from them, like the Black and Miles, right? You gotta buy the Black and Miles from the white man. Right. So he getting rich, and then he don't have to pay for the maintenance no more. Matter of fact, you pay your own insurance. You go to the doctor, you pay. When you was a slave, they had to pay. So what they realized is, let me mentally enslave him still. I want him to mentally think. I don't want him to have no independence, right? Like you just said, I'm African American, I'm black, I don't know what my heritage is. So they kept all that from you. Right. And then they said, go out and get a job.
Right.
So when you come to your community, where you spend your money? Who you spend your money with? With them. Right? So they done figured out this is a better plantation. Right? Because we can sell them a pair of shoes that cost us $2 to make for $300. That's way better than having them on my slave plantation. Guess what? We can hire them to run up and down the field and hurt themselves, and we can give them a good bit of money, right? You gotta think about it. If they paying athletes $10 million a year, how much you think they make? Oh, ain't no probably somewhere in the billions. They definitely making billions of dollars, right? With no issues, no nothing, right? The city, the taxes pay for the stadium. They done figured this thing out, right? So we have to come back to learning who we are. Because the only reason anything makes sense is like marriage, right? Why does marriage make sense? I mean, what's the big deal? Y'all living together, y'all good, ain't it? I mean, why you gotta get married? Well, you ain't though, right? So you done figured out why not. But what I'm saying is, it don't make sense because we don't know that's our heritage to get married. Right. We don't understand that our forefathers wrote down rules for us into how to be successful, into how to be right with God, and how to be to live our life better. Right? That was our heritage. This book is our book. Everything about the Bible is black. Everything. Right. From Adam to Christ. Right. It's black people all throughout this book. Right? But we never was taught that. This is our book that was stolen from us. This book was stolen from us, and then they remixed it. They was like, hey, Jesus Christ look like this. And we just go, okay. And we just go with it. This our book. This our heritage right here, right? This our heritage. This is the way we should live, right? So read that one more time.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy inheritance.
So we discontinue from our heritage. Why do you think we discontinue from being kings and queens on the earth? It's not that we didn't know. We knew at one time we was kings because we lived as kings.
Right.
Right? Why would we discontinue from that? Jeremiah 5:25, right? Everything has a cause and effect, right? You do something, then guess what? Something happens after that. If I was to slap you, we'd probably be fighting out here, right? You ain't about to just gonna stand there and let me slap you. Same thing, vice versa, right? If I took my truck and ran into that right truck right there, you know, something may happen, but it's gonna be an effect. Something's gonna happen after that, right? So watch this, read that.
Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 25. Your iniquities have turned away these things.
So us being royalty, right? Being on the top, our iniquity. You know what iniquity is? Sin. Our sin has turned away those things. Read.
Your iniquities have turned away these things, and your sins have withholden good things from you.
Because we made an agreement with God. God said, look, you keep my commandments, I'm going to bless you. And we was like, okay, we'll do that. He said, but if you don't keep my commandments, I'm going to curse you.
Bring it out.
Right? So we made an agreement. We said, look, everything you say we're going to do. And then we like, you know, that was like, we get it in blood. We made a blood agreement with God. We sacrificed the animal. Right. We sprinkled the blood on the altar. And we was like, hey, we're going to do this. Like, that's biblical, right? So God really getting it back in blood right now. Like, we sing that song about us, but really God getting it back in blood. He said, all right, you want to break the agreement? Guess what? Projects, slavery, you know what I'm saying? All that different thing. Like, that's the foolishness of our people, right? Now, I know they think we Qs or whatnot, but that's because we've been taught to worship white people. Because all fraternities are what organizations? Well, are you a Greek? Are you a Greek?
High school.
Right, okay, so there you go. Who are Greeks? Why do we want to be like them? When we think of royalty, right? We think of high level, right? We think of what they call it the bourgeoisie, those different things. We think of Greek. Let me go be an alpha. Let me go be an omega. Let me go be a sigma, right? That's in our mindset because everything white is right to us. But we ain't no Greeks.
Right.
Why we celebrate the Greeks? The Greeks put you in slavery.
Right.
Right? The Greeks were killed. The Greeks killed you. Right? The Greeks subjected us to all types of wickedness. Why we want to be Greeks? Because you don't know who you are. When you don't know who you are, you go and try and be like water. You like, okay, this is good. Let me flow over here. I don't like that. Let me flow over here. Right? That's what we do for not knowing who we are. Right? You got to get out of that stuff. Because if you believe in God, being a Greek, you know when you cross over, you got to make a vow in front of an altar to another guy, right? No, don't worry. They gonna let you. That's why they keep all this stuff secret, right? The Divine Nine, they don't tell you about this stuff, but when you crossing over, yeah, it's gonna be an altar in the room, right? If you're a Kappa, you're gonna be on the ground on the floor, right? And you're gonna have to make a promise to that guy. That's why a lot of these different, when you start looking at researching and stuff, it's all other guys, right? Right? The Q, the dogs, right? That represent another guy, right? I think it's somebody did with Anubis, right? Some of these different things, these signals and stuff like that, it's all other gods that you really worship. Now they'll dress it up and make it seem like it's something good, right? But at the end of the day, it's really idolatry. It's idol worship, right? And we do it because we want to fit in. It's like it's fun. What you looking at? Like what? Which one? Which? Alpha, Kappa. But it link over to another one, all right?
Kappa.
Right, they sponsored, right? You look like a Kappa, right? But it all goes into, most of that stuff go into what? They go into fornication, right? You got the Kappa sweethearts. You know, they DTF. It's going down, right? The Omegas, they got their girls. The Alphas got it. It's all, I know, I've been there, right? So it's all orgies, fornication, sin. Because sin feel good. it's hard to restrain yourself, right? Like it says, in a malicious soul, you can't be disciplined. Right? But when you in sin, when sin is good, you go do whatever you want to do, right? You say at the frat house, at the frat party, you hit about 2, 3 of them. You know, let's play truth or dare. It's about to go down, right?
Word.
We got to change ourselves, because that ain't no good lifestyle to be in, right? But a lot of our people, just say you're not thinking of it as a evil way. You like, hey, if I get into a fraternity, it'd be easy for me to get a job. I make these different contacts and things like that. Wouldn't it be better? Now, one thing I know for sure, like the Alphas, right? I'm from Louisiana, right? So the Alphas that's on LSU campus, right? It's only one frat house on LSU campus that's black, and that's the Alpha House. And it's the worst frat house on the campus. Dirty, it's run down. You got all these doctors, attorneys. You got all these rich black people that came out of this frat. They show up for homecoming and they Ferraris, they Benzes, they BMWs, they Range Rovers, but they ain't taking care of the rundown frat house, right? Most of these white colleges, they don't have black frat houses on campus, right? Because we don't do what's need to be done to take care of them, right? So we basically around people that, let me get right, let me get my money, and then I'm gonna separate myself from taking care of my people and reaching back. Yeah, they may do little, let's clean the road up one day, or let's give some food away, or let's get some free gas. They do stuff like that, right? But really, they ain't about really fixing the problem. They really about individuals. Oh, this is my little clique, and that's what we're about. Like, we gotta be about more than that, right? We can't just come together at homecoming, right? Or at a frat party. We gotta be coming together every day, right? So I pray you step away from that. That's a stronghold to a lot of people, stronghold for a lot of people. I told a brother he had the horseshoes on this branded on his arm. And he was talking about us changing and living to the Bible. I said, well, you denounce Omega Psi Phi? Brother wanted to fight me. He was hot. He was like, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. I said, bro, I do know what I'm talking about. You had to make a vow to another God. He got pissed off and he wouldn't say that he denounced Omega Psi Phi, because we see certain things as what? As better. Like, I'm Omega, right? So I'm better. You just a GDI. Like, you know what that means? God, you just a goddamn individual. You all know what I'm talking about, right? So we start to look at our brothers as beneath us. So are we gonna help them? No. We on the campus, we looking, okay, that brother like he got something going on. We want him. We want him. We want him. Hey, I want to be a Kappa. Nah, this dude lame as hell. Like, you straight, bruh. You know, you go join our orders or something like that. Well, I don't know. I think that's a woman. Said whatever school you at, you know who popping, right? So we start to treat each other ungodly. Those fraternities teach you that I'm better than them, right? That's not a mindset. If I feel like I'm better, my job is to make you better too, right? I need to make you better than me. That's why we out here. Like, I got a wife at home. I can be at home in the bed. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? We care about our people enough to say, let's reach out, let's try and fix our people, right? Yeah, so that's what happened. That's how we went from being royalty to on the bottom because of our sins, right? Sins will destroy a nation, and also we made an agreement with God to keep the commandments. Now the question is, who made that agreement with God? What nationality of people made that agreement with God? I'm gonna show you. All right, go to Deuteronomy 20. Go to Deuteronomy 1 and 1. You a little bit familiar with the Bible? When Moses, he went to Pharaoh to do what? Who was his people? The Israelites, right? Moses went to free the Israelites, right? Right, so let's read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan.
So when we read the book, we read the Bible, it's all written to the Israelites, right? But in specific, at Deuteronomy, this is after he done got them out of slavery, crossed the Red Sea. Now he with them on the mountain and he's speaking to them. Right? I'm going to show you what he said to him. 28 verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
So it says, if you keep all the commandments, right, that he about to give to him, read.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So guess what? He said to the Israelites, if you follow God's laws, statutes, and commandments, he gonna set you on high above all people, right? Would you say that we are above all people right now? No, so we're not above all people. So now let's go to verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
So now it's the flip side, right? You follow, bless. But if you don't follow, read.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So question, would you say that black people in America are a blessed group of people or a cursed group of people? Could be. I mean, yeah, I could be a millionaire, but I ain't. You know what I'm saying? So I ask you a question, blessed or cursed? We cursed group of people, right? We're gonna read what God said was gonna happen to the people, and we're gonna say, I'm gonna ask you, did that same thing happen to us? Right? Verse 16.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So it says one of the curses is you're gonna be cursed in the city, right? That means every city, when you think about it, right? That's like you say you from Atlanta, right? You from Atlanta, I'm from Louisiana. Where you from? You from Alabama, right? So when we think about it, right? When you think about it, it says, cursed shall you be in the city, right? If I go into any city in the United States of America, right? And I want to buy drugs, where would I go? Well, who gonna be in the hood? Us, right? It says cursed. If I say, man, I'm looking for the projects, who usually gonna be living in these projects? Us, right? It says, cursed shall thou be in the city. So any city we go into, our people are in the worst conditions, right? That's a curse, right? Keep reading.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
It says now you're gonna be cursed in the field, right? Who was made to pick cotton, rice, tobacco, right? Sugar cane for free? Us. That's a field. We had to work in the field. If we didn't do it, we got beat, right? Now we take that away. We ain't slaves. Well, we do still some of our people, like in Florida, a lot of places in Florida, in South Florida, right? A lot of those people still work in sugarcane plantations, right? They got this one neighborhood, this community, right? They work in some sugarcane plantations and stuff like that. It still goes on, right? But they'll just say, we're paying you a little bit, like the so-called Hispanics, right? All these berries and stuff, they out there in the field right now. There ain't no machines doing that. They the machines. Cursed shall I be in the city, and cursed shall I be in the field. So today, if we think about the work field, the job field, are we blessed there or we cursed there? Right? We cursed there. A lot of these factories here in every city, you can't really get hired onto them. You like a temp worker. Right. You ain't get it treated right. You ain't get it treated right. Like they say, last hired, first fired. Right? That's us. We ain't making a lot of money. They making millions and billions off of us. But guess what? We on the bottom. We cursed in the city, cursed in the field. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 17. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
Now, we think about a basket. What you use a basket for?
Carry stuff.
Carry stuff, right? So we put stuff in a basket, right? When you think about, say, a savings account for black people next to white people, what would you say? Like a savings account. How much would you think our people got saved in general?
Most I would say 5,000.
No, not even close. Not even close. Average some people ain't never seen $5,000 before, right? As a whole, I think it was like $1,700 is the average savings account of black people in America, right? How long you think the dollars circulate in our community? Meaning, if I have $1, how long does my dollar stay to black people in the community? How long? They say 6 hours. I think it's 6 hours, right? Other communities is 30 days, right? 20 days. Meaning I work a job, I go to your store and I spend my dollar, then you take your dollar and you go to this grocery store that's ours, and then the person in the grocery store, his wife go to your wife to get her hair done. That's what they mean, the money stay in the community. Right. Our stuff don't do that. It goes straight from them to us, back to them. Right? So it says, cursed be our basket and what?
And thy store.
And thy store. So when you think about all the stores in the black community, which ones we own? We don't own none of them, right? We don't own them. That's a curse that's happening right there, right? Who Moses said this curse was gonna happen to? To who? It didn't say us, it gave a name. The Israelites, right? I'm gonna show you something else. Give me verse 32.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
It says, your sons and daughters will be given unto another people. Now, is it anywhere in history where we can look at the Chinese people's sons and daughters being given to another group of people that you ever heard of? What about white people? All right, now black people. What would you call it? The slave trade. The Bible says, for us not keeping the commandments, our sons and daughters was going to be given into another group of people. That's why we speak English right now, because we was given to the Englishmen, right? That's why certain people in Suriname, they speak Dutch, because they was given to the Dutch. That's why people who speak Portuguese in Brazil, they speak Portuguese. That's why the Hispanics, they speak Mexican, they speak Spanish, right? Because their sons and daughters were given to another group of people, right? Keep reading.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
And when it was given, we didn't do nothing, right? We couldn't get our people out of that captivity because we didn't have no, keep reading.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
There was nothing we could do. We had no physical might. We had no financial might. Nothing we could do to get our people back out of captivity. Right? Now you can see the Bible being real specific, right? Verse, was that 32? Read verse 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Now, you got enemies? But we think about it as the ops. We think about that brother on the corner, the dude that live in this neighborhood. What's some of the neighborhoods like Gate City, Tallapoosa Boys, what else? I don't know. Bessemer, beefing with somebody. I don't know. I'll be on the clubhouse groups just listening, so I may know a little something when I come out here and teach. And our people hate each other, right? We think of each other as an enemy. No, God says that you got real enemies. And the scripture says the curse that will come upon us is that we will have to serve our enemies. Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
So in hunger, when you want something to eat, where you go? Who own the food place? All right, so when you want to get food, what you got to use to get the food? Where you get the money from? Who own the job? Your enemy, right? Read.
In hunger and in thirst.
When you want something to drink, where you got to go? Right? Or what about your water bill? Right? When you want something to drink, it says we will have to serve our enemies for food and in thirst. Right? Who control this? They do, right? Now you said the enemy, right? So we say enemy, but who's the enemy? Huh? Okay, you got the white man. They got some of these stores ain't controlled by the white man. the Asians, some, but at the end of the day, they don't control the raw stuff, right? They just like I can own a store, but I'm subject to a lot of different things, right? I got to go get the stuff from here. Like if I own that gas station, right? None of the money that I had to invest into it go back to me. If I gotta buy the gas, it don't go back to me. The products in that store, it don't come back to me, right? Everything that I sell in there, I gotta go get it from somebody that don't look like me. You see what I'm saying? So you can, Sean John may have his name. Matter of fact, read the next one. And in what?
And in nakedness.
And in clothing, right? Sean John, he got a clothing line. But he don't have no fabric companies. He don't control the raw textiles. So before he get that, he still gotta serve his enemies for fabric. Kanye West showed us something. That you can go from being a billionaire to a millionaire just like that. Because you don't agree with your enemy, right? He didn't agree. He said that the so-called Jewish man ain't the real Jews, right? Nick Cannon said the same thing. He got canceled. If you think about it, when anybody say something about who you really are and who they not, they punish them.
Right.
Now you can say I'm a Muslim. They got Muslims all over. Nobody losing their job because they're a Muslim, right? You can say I'm a Catholic, I'm a Baptist, I'm a Pentecostal, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. You good in the hood. Right. You say you're an Israelite, now we got problems. Like, what you mean you're an Israelite? Just like I was telling you earlier about how the women raise their sons to be mentally weak, right? When you show you know who you are, your nationality, right? Then you understand that you royal. And then when you know you royal, you know that the position you in, it ain't right.
That's right.
Right? A king shouldn't be walking the horse. He should be on top of the horse. Right? Right? So keep reading.
And in nakedness, and in want of all things.
So in the want of all things, the Bible says we got to go to who? Our enemy, right? So guess what? Just like we was talking about getting married, right? For you to get married, you still got to go to the courthouse, right? If right now, right? If your mom, she still living? If right now, if your mom had a life insurance policy on you, right? And that thing fell down and it knocked your head off your body. Like your head over there, your body right there. You know she can't get that life insurance money until somebody come and say, and do what? I said, if your head was over here and your body was over there, you know your mom couldn't get that life insurance money. Not until the white man showed up and said, he dead. You see what I'm saying? So you can be dead, but he got to come put his stamp on it. You see what I'm saying? So we have to serve our enemies in the want of all things. Now, if you was to say, well, I don't think that's my enemy, because some people do that, right? Some people say, hey, man, the white man give me a good job, man, the white man this, man, I work for this Asian dude this, the Chinese man this. Like, we trust in our enemies, right? Because they done figured out the new slaves. Like Kanye West did a song, New Slaves, right? They done figured out, let's see, let me figure this thing out. Let me make some new slaves, right? Let me make them think they free, but I'm gonna still make money off of them, right? This is gonna show you even more who those enemies are. Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
You got your phone? All right, so if you was to Google, matter of fact, I'll Google it, just so you can see it. All right, if I Google yoke of iron, and I hit image, look at what you see. You see a black man with a yoke, with an iron thing around his neck, right? That all go into slavery. Yoke of iron, Kuta Kente, slavery. When you look up yoke of iron, that's all those things are slave tools, right? The Bible said that your enemy would do what?
Put a yoke, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
So guess what? It's specific, right? So the Bible is talking about what happened to us as a nation of people. It says that if we disobey God, our enemy will put a yoke of iron upon our neck. Now, you got a yoke of iron on your neck right now? No. Watch this. Read.
Until he have destroyed thee.
What's your nationality? right? You're an Israelite now, but before, what you was? You was African American. So he did what he was supposed to do. He did his job. He got a lot of our people destroyed, right? A lot of our people destroyed. They don't know who they are. They think their heritage is rap music, right? They think this life. They think riding up and down the street, high, you know, whatever, sleeping with as many women as they can, women listening to Glorilla, right? All these NBA young boy, Lil Durk. We think that's life. That's death. It ain't life, right? Life is finding out who you are, and guess what? Helping your brother and sister find out who they are too, so we can go and be neighbors again.
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family.